So if you've seen a lot of the AI generated content recently, it kind of maybe looks quite easy to put together, but I thought I'd show you some of the behind the scenes outtakes that didn't make it to the final cut of a joke one that I did this week on the Tyre Whisperer hotline. I just thought I'd take you through like 2 or 3 of the outtakes, and it's so you can see the kind of outcome that you get if you don't get your prompt absolutely right. So I learned quite a bit on this experiment in terms of trying to be very much more specific with the prompt and learning by what it created, because you say I do a thing and then you don't actually have any idea what will emerge the other end, and then you're sort of tuning from that end. Unfortunately, it costs you each time you make even an outtake video like this, so you want to try and minimise the cost. Anyway, so I thought I'd take you through some of these things just to show you the types of mistake that you can get if you don't do this right. Okay, so the first scene, or the first couple of scenes, I'm trying to get the feel of this Tyre as a human personality. I want it to have this notion of feelings, which is obviously silly, but and then the whole premise of the Tyre Whisperer is that the racing drivers are pretty hard on their tyres and they don't give them enough basically love and attention. Tyres have feelings too, okay? And what I want to do at first is start with a kind of a confusion around like what's going on. These kind of drivers are unsure, and so the first scene I was thinking about how the driver, what I had in my mind and what I described and what isn't here is the driver. I wanted him to be sort of talking at the back of the garage on the phone to someone else about the tyres in a kind of confused state, and then kind of look back at the tyres, when the penny drops and think, actually these things are conscious, they're real, okay? And so that's what I described, and this is what I got. Let's see if I can make it work. Right, if I click over here, hopefully that will work. Right, you play. Oh, here we go.
Yes, I've tried tracking. I think it's something else.
Let's try that again.
It's pulling under braking. Yes, I've tried tracking. I think it's something else.
I don't know how well that worked, but he's not really looking at the tyre, and he's not looking at anything that's kind of going on in that sort of sense. And he's standing right next to the tyre, and it's not kind of mysterious. He's not looking back at it, and I was like, oh, that's a bit disappointed. The try tracking is a Peter Kay nod, if anyone knows him. Anyway, so this is another version.
But the grip's all over the place! Yes, Bob, I've tried tracking glances back at car. Ooh, maybe they know they're being replaced.
Did you get that? Halfway through that thing, she does glance back at the car, but she actually says, glances back at car, which is in the instructions in the prompt. So you've got to be very careful about not to mix up the dialogue with the instructions, which is obviously what I got wrong in this one. So if I just play it again.
What? But the grip's all over the place! Yes, Bob, I've tried tracking glances back at car. Ooh, maybe they know they're being replaced.
So that's no good. This one is another similar one where there's a voiceover that happens instead of her talking about the thing. So I tried to change the scene a bit because I thought the phone walking thing wasn't really working, and so I thought I'd change the scene so that she's definitely meant to be walking out of the back of the garage. Okay, she's clearly not walking out the back of the garage, but it's close. And talking to the camera now in a kind of like a Netflix documentary style is what I wanted. But there's a confusion because what I actually said in the prompt was, imagine the next Netflix documentary interviewer had just asked her, how was the grip? and then we see her reply. Okay, so see if you can spot this one.
That session was crazy. We changed nothing, but there was just no grip.
Maybe.
The tires know they're being replaced.
The maybe. You get this random maybe from a voiceover, and again, that was just the way. That was just the way in which I'd written the dialogue in the prompt, and what I'd done is I'd written the thing, and then I said, "Oh, she looks back," and then maybe, but it was in quotes. It was like in, but it's just decided to make that voiceover one as well. So that is. So that was a bit of a fail. So I had another go, a slightly different thing to try and get everything together, and it turns out that even AI actors can forget their lines. Okay, so the full dialogue was in there as an instruction, and then this is what happened.
That session was crazy. We changed nothing, but there was no grip on it. And maybe the tires know they're being replaced.
I mean, like, her eyes and everything are pretty over the top. I thought this was like, she's not going to be that upset if I go here. I mean, that's pretty horrendous. But it's just added random subtitles that aren't even correct. I didn't ask for subtitles, and obviously that doesn't make any sense at all. What I wanted to show you is it this one? Right, where she actually forgets her line. Here we go.
That session was crazy.
You've got other things to say. She doesn't say anything else. And then I had another go, well. Nothing. Nothing at all. So I was like, oh, that's no good. The emotion there is the best, actually. I think that's the best emotion that is captured of all of the ones, even with the one that I chose as the final version. But she doesn't say anything, so I'm like, well, I can't use that. So that gives you some idea of this scene, and it took, so what's that, 4, 5, 6 goes, and then it sort of did it on the final one, and I was kind of like, well, I'll just sort of take that for now. Even that one wasn't quite right, I don't think, but I was just sort of, you're burning through credits and cash at this point, and it was a case of, right, I think I've got the prompt as good as I can with no mistakes, and that's it. But so just to give you an idea that it's really quite sensitive to that. This one, I've got another couple to show you here. So there's this one, which is actually pretty good.
I used to sneak into my garage at 2 a.m. to check pressures. My wife thought I was having an affair. Turns out I was with my tires.
But I just thought it's a bit too close to reality, maybe, or I don't want, the wives thing. I thought that's no good. And then this one was meant to be. The next one I'm going to show you is like, it's meant to be the opening. So literally, my tires hate me. I don't know what's going on. This driver's having this emotional response to their tires. They're lying awake in bed. They just can't. They're confused. It's really painful for them, and they've fallen out. Right. So
I thought my tires hated me.
So again, we've got the random subtitles. It doesn't look like a racing driver, even though I gave it a lot of explanation in the prompt to make it look like a racing driver. And there's no memorabilia, there's no helmets, there's nothing to say that this is a racing driver. This is just a random guy, and he's whispering really quietly. And I was like, it didn't really work for me in the end, which is a bit of a shame, because he does look quite upset, but it's just a bit sort of odd. So I didn't. That one didn't make it either. And then, as I say, the subtitles just popped up anyway, and they're like, "Well, I didn't put those in. I didn't ask for subtitles, so it will just give you these things randomly." And here's this last one where this idea of basically putting your tires so we've now gone through, right? So this is all the problem, and then the Tyre Whisperer hotline has explained, oh, you need to have a better relationship with your tyres. You need to be working with them and being more understanding and empathetic. And so this one is around these guys. They've taken the Tyre Whisperer Zen playlist, which they play to the tyres to really relax them before the race. And so you created this kind of spa, hotel spa environment for the tyres, and everything's relaxed, and they're playing some stuff. And the lines are quite good, but because it was this French, foreign music composer that we would do the parody of, Carbon Fibre parody, the voice changed to be a foreign accent, and I just thought it was a bit too strong. So
Debussy really calms their compound anxiety. Clair de Lune for Carbon Fibre, they love this track.
I mean, it's quite close. It nearly made it. This one, it did nearly make it, but it just felt a little bit kind of awkward. I like the fact that it's got the Tyre Whisperer in the background on the poster. It just felt a little bit. I don't know. The other one I thought was a bit more intimate and with a camera, so that's why I chose that one. But anyway, so I thought I'd just give you this behind the scenes of creating a video. So the tool I used was Veo3, which is the Google one, and the reason I used it was because it's one of the only ones, or the only one that I know of at the moment, where you can get dialogue and sound with the video. So all the other ones at the moment are you just get the video and you have to sort of add sound to it yourself. This one you can just create the dialogue, and they will say hopefully say what you want them to say. So, but I thought that was useful to show you like a little bit behind the scenes and what to expect. And hopefully there's a couple of tips there that you've got if you're looking at videos, just to really make sure that you get that prompt nailed, and on the dialogue not to add any kind of instructions. Have one dialogue with your quotes. Make sure it's only 8 seconds long. I did have a couple where they sort of ran over as well, because it was just too much dialogue for 8 seconds, which is the only window you have at the moment on the, let's just say 8 seconds. So it's quite short, and yeah. So hopefully that is useful, and it saves you some time and a lot of money. Okay, cheers for now.